Hi, coaches. Coach Nelson back here with another video tip for you. I wanted to, this is actually in your silver library, but I wanted to bring it up to the front because it gives a nice strategy that happens a handful of times a year for a rundown. This is a failed suicide squeeze attempt, and then with the runners on second and third. And again, this is one of the reasons why I do not really recommend suicide squeezes, but if you do run them and you do get the ball down, then they obviously work very well. So this is a failed suicide squeeze attempt here, and I'm just going to let it play, and then we'll go back and kind of break down how the catcher handles this situation absolutely perfectly. All right, so let's break down here exactly what the catcher does in this situation that is so good. So to start the play, obviously you'll see one of the reasons quickly I don't like the suicide squeeze is because this pitcher just throws a pitch that's about 6 or 8 inches off the plate, and there's nothing the hitter can do. The runner's coming down the line, and he has to make an effort at it. When he can't get it, the runners are basically trapped. They have nowhere to go. So catcher does a great job, begins running the runner back because we obviously want to run the runner back to third base. Then he recognizes here that there are going to be 2 runners. I want to point out a couple of things to you. Number one, the catcher recognizes it, but in case he doesn't, if you look up here at the shortstop is very clearly yelling, 2 runners, 2 runners, 2 runners. And that lets the catcher know that there's going to be 2 runners at third base. So all the catcher has to do is run the lead runner all the way back to the base, like he does here. And then now there are 2 runners on the same base. I'll talk at the end a little bit about offensively what I would do in this situation, but the catcher handles this perfect. He goes up and tags both of the runners. To be honest with you, a lot of umpires aren't really sure who's out in a given situation. Okay, so especially in this one. So he tags both of the runners. Now one of them's out. Okay, and then what he does is he stays right by the base in case they both come off the base thinking they're both out, or in case the wrong one comes off the base, and then he can tag him, and then you actually end up getting a double play. So he goes up, tags both of the runners, okay, and then he stays there. Now the umpire is clearly going to say here, number 12 is out. Number 12, you're out. And so what the catcher does then is he walks over to the runner that's not out, number 30, and puts his glove on him in case he steps off the base. Okay, number 12 steps off the base, so no problems. But if Ole Miss had messed that up just a little bit, where the wrong runner had come off the base, the catcher would have been right there to tag him out. Then the next thing he does that's great is you see him walking away here, calls time in order to get time so that no further action can happen. So we'll watch it again here. Just handled absolutely perfectly by the catcher. Base runners, here's what I would do in that situation. Just to avoid any confusion, there's some coaches that would say, well, shouldn't you have your, sacrifice your slower of the 2 runners? Well, this doesn't happen often enough for runners to realize that. What I would do to avoid any confusion if I were on offense on that play is I would just not put 2 runners on the base. You run the risk of the umpire screwing something up, your base runner screwing something up, and getting a double play. So I would just go back towards the base. Once you realize there's going to be 2 runners there, I would stop and get tagged out, unless there was like a runner advancing from first or something along those lines. But in this situation, I think that's probably the safest bet for the offense. So I hope that helped you a little bit. I know it was kind of buried in your silver library, and some of you may have seen it before, but I wanted to bring it to the front and kind of explain on an audio exactly what's happening there. Hope you have a great week. Thanks again for your membership. As always, if you have anything you'd like to see added, we've been getting some good stuff rolling in for ideas for podcasts and ideas for products in the members area. Go ahead and contact me, Kyle, at cornerstonecoachingacademy.com.